This is Nissan's brand new Qashqai, and when I say new, I really mean it. Rear lights, front lights, bonnet bulges, the way this car sits on the road, everything about it is virtually indistinguishable from the old model. The question is though, is this new one as good as the last, which itself was the very first crossover? And to answer that question, we have to consider just how big a job Nissan had on their hands when they were making the new Qashqai. To put it in music terms, it's kind of like a band trying to lay down a really good second album, the difficult second album, so very few of them get it right. But if Van Morrison's Astro Weeks and Nirvana's Nevermind has taught us anything, it's that sometimes the second bite of the cherry is the one that's the sweetest. Keeping with the music theme, the Qashqai's back catalogue is a little bit brief but very impressive. It's one thing to create a very successful car, it's quite another to spawn an entirely new genre. Back in 2007, most people bought hatchbacks and saloons, but Nissan approached the market with a very uncomplicated but revolutionary product. It was a cross, which is where we get the name crossover, between a hatchback and an SUV, so it had all the functionality of a hatchback, but it was smaller and crucially cheaper than most SUVs. The Nissan came in at under 30,000 euros when most other SUVs were almost 40,000 euros. And between the years of 2007 and 2013, Nissan managed to sell around 22,000 Qashqais in Ireland. Most people who bought the original Qashqai bought it in SE or XE trim as it became known. It was perfectly adequate, it came with a nice level of specification and it cost around 26,000 euros. The XE spec in the new model costs just over 26,000 euros and there's a 1,500 euros premium if you want to buy the mid-range SV model. But if you really want to treat yourself, go for the SVE. It's the one that I'm driving, and it comes with some safety features. One of them is a lane departure warning system, so if I don't indicate and try to cross lane, it should beep at me and tell me I could cause a collision. Now, if you're in town traffic, it also has a little trick up its sleeve. It'll stop you from crashing into the person in front of you if you're going under a certain speed. So if you're not paying attention, which you should always be, it'll just anchor on the brakes and avoid a collision. Very clever, but it does come at a premium. The screen between the rev counter and the odometer displays everything depending on the spec that you have, from your sat nav and your Bluetooth functions and your radio functions. It's very clear and bright, easy to read, and I really like it. It has a digital readout as well, so I don't have to look at the analog arm moving up and down the rev counter to see how fast I'm going. I do appear to be breaking the speed limit, so let's scrub a little bit of speed off. I much prefer the seating position in this new Qashqai to the old model. I found the old model to be very comfortable, but you were perched a little bit too high up, and when you were going into bends quite quickly, you would tend to lean and lunge a little bit. This new Qashqai is a little bit lower than the old model, but you still get a good field of view out in front of you, and you do still get the feeling as though you're perched up above most other road users. And what that translates to is a little bit more stability in fast bends than the old model, but that could also be down to the fact that Nissan have something called chassis control, which means that if it detects the car's understeering a little bit, it will brake the inside wheels in the corner and just slow the car down a little bit, and it does this automatically and seamlessly. The only real similarity between this new model and the old one is its engine. It has the same 1.5 litre diesel. However, they have made it more eco-friendly, so it now produces just 99 grams of CO2 per kilometre. You can get a 1.6 litre diesel engine, and you could have in the old model as well. I prefer that engine. However, it does cost 1,500 euros more, and I suspect that more people would prefer to have the 1,500 euros either in their back pocket or put it into the spec of the car and upgrade from the XE to the SV. And you know what? I couldn't blame them, because the 1.5 is perfectly fine. The Qashqai had the crossover market to itself for an awfully long time, but now Kia's Sportage and Hyundai's iX35 are making life very difficult. Nissan can rest assured though that their Qashqai badge certainly isn't a one-hit wonder.